Dear students, a warm welcome to all of you to the online class of Moral Science. This is Leena Varghese teaching you the second chapter of your Moral Science, that is our responsibility to the poor. So, in this chapter, we are going to see who are poor people and what will be the problem of poverty, okay, and how can we help the poor people to come out from their poverty, and otherwise what consequences it will have in the society. Okay, so all these things we will discuss. So the we'll start the lesson. So in the first paragraph of this lesson, okay, itself, we can read the story of a lady, that is Mrs. Bhagyavati. Okay, so let's read that and we will understand. So Mrs. Bhagyavati was a rich widow. She was a peculiar type of lady, thought even her friends. She used to carry a personal diary wherever she went. It was there always in her bag. Occasionally, she would take it out and note some things in it. While buying things or while watching cinema in the theater, she would keep noting things in her diary. One day, one of her friends asked her whether she was writing down the day's expenses. In a way, yes, said Mrs. Bhagyavati with a smile. I just keep noting down how much I was spending on unnecessary of luxurious things. You see, dear, there are so many unfortunate people in this country who cannot even afford to spend enough for necessary things. Every day I note down my expenses so that I can spend that much on poor people next day. My friend, don't we have a responsibility towards our poor brethren? So, this is a story of a widow, okay, rich widow, and her nature was that she she was very rich, okay, and she used to spend money, but whenever she spent money, okay, she used to note it down in her diary. She had a diary, she was carrying a personal diary wherever she is going, okay, she was going, and she used to write the small expenditure also that she made. Understood? So she kept on noting the expenditure whatever she made in her diary. So one of her friend asked her, okay, why you are writing all this, writing down the expenses, or are you writing down the day's expenses? So she said yes. So she was actually noting down how much she is spending on unnecessary of luxurious things, isn't it? So many times what happens, our earning or our income is not sufficient because of what our need for luxurious things, isn't it? When we can manage with five dresses, again if you see one more dress of any, I mean, say if your friends are wearing, so you may have a desire for having that also, isn't it? Or else if you have a mobile that you can use, but if a new model comes, you will have craze for that. So this kind of luxurious things, okay, that makes us to do expenditure more. So the whatever we are doing, what or spending, whenever we spend money unnecessary for luxurious things, okay, that what make our income not sufficient, isn't it? So otherwise, for a normal person to live, the basic needs are what? Food, isn't it? And then what? Shelter, clothes, etc. Only is needed. So when our need for luxurious things increases, our expenditure also increases, isn't it? So this lady, what she was doing, she was just noting down how much she is spending on unnecessary luxurious things. Okay, so what she was having a good thought, that is, she thought There are so many unfortunate people in the country around us, and who cannot even afford to spend money for the necessary things also, isn't it? When our brethren or our people around us is not able to buy things for their food or for their shelter, isn't it? Or if they are not having a shelter or a house, or if they are not having enough dress to wear just to escape from the winter or from the that kind of environmental hardships, how can we what buy things for our luxurious things, isn't it? So this lady was thinking like that, when people around me is suffering because of not having money for the necessary things, then whatever she spends, okay, for luxurious things, some we are human being, we cannot stop all this, okay, as a social man or social animal, we have to follow others also. Sometimes we are forced to do some things like others are doing, isn't it? So like this, when this person, she was spending the money, she used to keep the the list of that, so that she can spend that much on poor people next day. See what a nice thought she was having. Whatever she is expending, or whatever expenditure she is doing, okay, on luxurious things, that much money she used to contribute to the people around her, okay, who was not fortunate enough to buy the necessary things also. Is it clear? So, what a great thought she was having, isn't it? And if everyone thinks like that, how nice the world will be, isn't it? So, whatever dress we are having extra, whatever money we are having extra, actually, someone said it is not of ours. Okay, it is actually the right of the poor who is not fortunate. Okay, so due to some reason we might have earned so much of money. So whatever is what necessary for us, okay, more than that what we are having is actually, it is the share of the poor who is around us, and with our what smartness we had, or we kept that it with us, okay. So like this, what if everyone thinks, then how nice the world would be, isn't it? So what is the general attitude of people at large towards the less fortunate people around us? How do the socially better of people treat poor people? How do poor people consider themselves? What is their attitude towards each other? What are the ways in which the government is trying to uplift the poor? Do you know any agency that helps poor people? What do they do? Do you know of people who exploit the poor? How does society view such exploitation? So, all this are what the good matters for your thought, isn't it? So, many of them they treat, isn't it? The rich people, they think, isn't it, or they treat the poor people as very badly, isn't it? Sometimes you may not have feel like having friendship with them, or you may always think that kind of people as, isn't it, not only you, everyone, isn't it? So likewise we may think them as second class people, isn't it? Or what they no one would like to have friendship with them, or they will not cooperate with them, isn't it? So government is also doing lot of schemes, isn't it? Many schemes are there, health schemes, house schemes, where the house will be what provided to the poor people. So all that is going on, isn't it? And there are many agencies also that helps poor, they collect what money from rich people and they distribute, isn't it? So likewise many good things are also going on, but still what there are people who exploit the poor people. They are illiteracy, isn't it? They may not have you all are getting chance to learn in good schools from good teachers, isn't it? Or your parents are good to support you for all this, but there are students, okay, those who are not able to study in what, or they are not. Why? Because of poverty they may be forced to do work. So that is what child labor is banned in different many nations, isn't it? Because what, they will not get chance to. In India also it is banned. Why? Because children won't get the what chance to learn. So what happens, they will go for work, isn't it? For because of poverty they will be forced to do work, and when they are doing work they cannot study. Understood? So like this, what so many what conditions are there. So because of their illiteracy, okay, they are not able to read, or they are not knowing things, or they don't know to whom they have to approach. So all this ignorance means what, all this type of things are exploited by others, isn't it? So like this, you might have heard many stories where the poor people are exploited by the other people. So poverty is a worldwide phenomenon, not only in our India. Okay, so our social structure is such that there will be richer and the poor to grow poorer. Okay, the gap between the rich and the poor is ever on the increase. The rich is able to squander money on luxurious things and throwing lavish parties. The poor, on the other hand, finds it difficult to afford even the necessities of life. About 80 crore people in the developing countries do not have enough food to eat. In India also, more than 22 crore people, poor people, go to sleep without square meals every day, according to the latest reports available. Okay, so it is like that. The poor people, they will never get a chance to what or earn money, because they from the beginning, isn't it? They'll be forced to work. They will not get chance to study and all. So what will happen? They'll their what descendants, their family members also will be forced to do the same job. They will not get a chance to get developed. So what happened? The gap between, and the rich people, what they'll do? They are having enough money. They send their children to to good colleges or to good studies. Okay, and they will be getting chance to study, and they'll get more money, isn't it? They'll get good jobs. So the rich people become richer again and again, and the poor people, they continue likewise. The gap between the rich and the poor is ever on the increase. And the rich people, they nicely spend money, isn't it? On luxurious things, and also they what they can conduct lavish parties, isn't it? Marriage parties and all. How much lakhs and crores of money is simply wasted, isn't it? And on the other hand, the poor people, they are finding it difficult to have what daily meals also. So about 80 crore people in the developing countries, they are not having enough food to eat. Just imagine, you may not have experienced the feeling of hungriness, isn't it? So because you will be getting food more than what you need, isn't it? Your parents will be after you, eat likewise. Only the thing is, you need not to eat, you don't want to eat. So you may never felt what hungriness, but the feeling of hungriness is the one of the most what feeling, isn't it? Those who experienced it, isn't it? So there are people who what don't have enough food to eat. And in India also, around 22 crore poor people, they are not having enough meals. Okay, so some, you might have heard about what the balanced diet and all. So some people are not even having balanced, not even having their daily meals, something that they need to retain their life, that also is not there, isn't it? So let's see what problem will be there in the society if poverty is growing. Okay, in India, the problem of poverty is growing from bad to worse each day. The industrial revolution has not helped in solving this problem. It, on the other hand, has worsened the conditions of the farmers and the ordinary laborers. The big factories and industries always help the economically well-to-do people. Only the wealthy and the influential people gain from them. The daily laborers and other weaker sections of society are the losers. They remain poor in the midst of plenty. Isn't it? So in India also, same problem. Poverty is growing. Okay. So now poverty you can see poverty in another level might be, isn't it? Sometimes food as government is providing, there may be enough food. Okay, so this article or this chapter is written little bit years back. So now might be the conditions may be a little more improved, but still poverty you can see in different in different sides now, isn't it? So industrial revolution, have you heard about industrial revolution? You might have studied, isn't it? So that also not developed, or that also not helped the people to become, the poor people to become more stable. On the other hand, it worsened the conditions of farmers and the ordinary laborers. So the big factories and industries only, they get help from the economically well-to-do people, isn't it? If you go for a loan to the bank, what will happen? First they will check your what salary, whether you are getting a what permanent salary or not, isn't it? So whether you are able to refund it, first they will see, then only the what the banks also will give you loans. So like this big factor, those who are having, they will get the chance to develop, isn't it? They will get financial help and all. Only the wealthy and the influential people gain from them, isn't it? So those the well-to-do people means the people who are able to help, they will help the people who are who are also having a good financial conditions, and the daily laborers and the other weaker sections of the society, they never get a chance and they remain poor in the midst of plenty. Okay, then today poverty is pulling the rural population to the cities and towns. They go there in search of employment. Moreover, the educated rural youth do not prefer to stay in their villages. There are no suitable employment possibilities there. There is thus a mad rush towards the urban areas. It is said that by 2005, I told this chapter is, means this article is written very, means little bit years ago, some years ago only. Okay, so by 2005, every second person in India will be residing in the urban area. Okay, so that you can see, that is urbanization, isn't it, is increasing, or in the urban areas the population is getting increased. Why? Because in villages there is no employment opportunities. So what will happen? The educated rural youth, they go to the urban areas. Okay, they will not prefer to stay in the villages. They go to the town areas or urban areas. Understood? So this, how this will affect? So if every people is moving towards the urban areas, okay, that may affect, or those who are doing the agriculture. You know, now lot of the strikes were there, isn't it, from the farmer side. Political side we don't discuss. Okay, but otherwise you can see what is the poor condition of farmers. If they work hard for many days, months, okay, their products are getting very less money, and when you buy it from the market, isn't it, that will be means sold with high price. So this kind of situation is there. So people won't go to the agricultural fields, or they won't feel like, or they won't remain as farmers. They start doing other jobs. So what will happen finally? That will affect the food production. Okay, then in the urban areas, problem of housing, employment, sanitation, isn't it? So all this will increase. Okay, then peaceful progress is not possible in the midst of poverty. Industrial poverty all over the world has already led the people into the situation of political unrest, violence, and hatred between employers and workers. Poverty and deprivation make people become aggressive, and violent crimes are bound to increase in proportion to the swelling problems of the poverty, isn't it? So if a nation has to progress, all the people should be satisfied, isn't it? Then what, the crimes will be less in that kind of country, isn't it? If a society everyone is satisfied, then no one will go to steal, no one will go to do any kind of robbery or nothing, isn't it? So for a nation to do peaceful progress, okay, that is not possible in the midst of poverty. Okay, so industrial poverty all over the world has already led the people into the situation of political unrest, isn't it? So when they are unsatisfied, they will have problem always, isn't it? In different angles they will think, and they create problems to the society. Then violence, isn't it? Hatred, all this happens between the employers and the workers, isn't it? So if they are not satisfied, all these problems happens. Okay, and poverty and deprivation make people become aggressive, isn't it? And violent. So if everyone is violent, crimes are bound to increase in proportion to the swelling problems of poverty. Okay, so I told poverty only you cannot see in in the angle of food. So in different levels, poverty you can see, observe in the society, isn't it? So if poverty is not there, means everyone, if they are satisfied, then that society will be a very peaceful society. Otherwise there will be chances of violence, isn't it? Aggression, etc. Understood? So, a nation that wants to tread the path of peaceful progress will have to make provisions to eradicate poverty substantially. It calls for cooperation and involvement of the citizens. It also calls for a change of heart of the greedy and avaricious. We must not stand aside with a why should I bother attitude, isn't it? To build a happy nation in which every citizen of the world can have his basic needs met, we must begin here and now with me and you. It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness, isn't it? So, what we have to do is, if we want to progress, okay, we have to consider our surroundings also, isn't it? Whatever we are having, if our surrounding or if our nation is not calm and quiet, then it will be very difficult for us to live, isn't it? So if we need to progress, our the people in that should be peaceful, okay, and we can make a peaceful progress, isn't it? So for that, eradication of poverty is very necessary. Okay, so it needs the cooperation and involvement of the citizens, isn't it? It needs the, so the involvement of citizens is a must, isn't it? So we have to work together for this, okay, with a change of heart, okay, and we should avoid our greediness, okay, and we must stand aside with a why should I bother attitude, isn't it? So always we think that someone else will do or will start the movement, isn't it? So if we need to do something, that is not me, someone else will do. So that attitude, that is why should I bother, that attitude should be removed. Okay, we should do what we can do, each one of us, isn't it, to build a happy nation. Actually nation is what, nothing, it is each one of us. So each one of us, if we try to do this, then, so to build a happy nation, it is very necessary for each citizen, okay, will have or should have his basic needs, okay, met. Means we should help the poor people to what, to meet their needs, basic needs, okay. And so that what our nation will become, or our each citizens of our nation will become happy, and we can progress together, isn't it? So progress alone, some what that creates a lot of problem. So if we progress together, then we can achieve a lot. It is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness, isn't it? So every time if we say that it is not our duty, why should I do, isn't it? Or someone else should do, or there is darkness, someone if they would have lit a candle, likewise we cannot what say, what we have to do, we have to say that we have to light a candle than cursing the darkness, okay. So what we can do, that we have to learn to do. So that what will happen, our work, okay, together it will make a change, isn't it? When we do what each one of us do our part, then together it will make a very great change, okay. So that is about this chapter. And you might have understood what is what poverty, okay. So I told not only what poverty is in case of money, okay, some of them may be needing love or a smile, all this you can provide without any expenditure, or any without spending any money. You can help other people, isn't it? Not only by money, by giving money, okay, by your deeds, your words, okay. So all that is needed, that will make the world a better place to live, isn't it? So for that I hope everyone will work hard, okay, or do whatever you can do. Understood? Okay, children. And this two chapters, that is first two chapters will be there for your examination, pre-midterm examination, that is the story of creation, and then the second chapter, that is our responsibility to the poor. So there will be fill-ups, okay, then there will be meanings, true or false, like this 20 marks question will be there. So Sandhya madam had already given you the notes of chapter 1, and I'll be sending this chapter's notes in the next week. So be prepared and do the exam honestly, okay. Thank you.